If it feels like he's bluffing, you can confirm it for him now. As he spoke, he took out his phone. Cold sweat flowed. It seems not to be a bluff. Such a large amount was beyond his authority. He needs to consult with the union executives. Chung Xiaoyu got up directly. Prepare to leave. The moment I turned my head, he suddenly thought. It seems that someone is secretly investigating him behind his back. Disappeared in an instant. Blood flowed from his cheeks. He finally understood. The second awakened plus the invisibility ability. It's really worth the amazing conditions that the process builds. He trembled and said to Chen Xiaoyu, I didn't mean to investigate people behind my back. It's because of the sea-level dungeon in the guild area. The speed of being raided is too fast. It is too necessary for the operation of the union to investigate. And you survived all 3 major accidents. Although there is no evidence. But I'm sure you're through a second awakening. Reached the level of a high-level hunter. To get out safely. And Lu Chenghao stumbled upon a meteorite in an ancient group. In order to recruit people in the union for his father. Will be hired as it is now. Think about it this way. Everything makes sense. That's why I'm coming to you. Except for him. Who else knows about him? At present, only he and one of his subordinates know. Chung Xiaoyu only knew. It seems that he and the rich second generation have omitted too much teleportation. That's why it's eye-catching. I don't want anyone to know about me anymore. If I hear rumors about me, that must be your responsibility. As specified. But he didn't want to die. He promised Chung Xiaoyu that he would help him keep this secret. Cheng Xiao and a random teleporter appeared on the chair. It seems that we continue to attack sea-level dungeons. It affected the power of the White Tiger Guild. It's a pity, though. We don't plan to stop anytime soon. That's the trouble. None of us have a portal to train new hunters. And you can't let them go to the advanced teleportation. Chung Xiaoyu calmly made a suggestion. You can make a deal with me. What a deal. I can resell the Raider's license with 3 C-class porters. But only after today, there is no such shop in this village. But it's not just this place where a driver teleports you. The union can also send new people to train elsewhere. It's just that in that case, there may be friction with other grand guilds. After weighing the pros and cons, he took the deal. Asked Chung Xiaoyu for a price. Chung Xiaoyu blurted out, 2 million each. Even if you can get mana stones and magic crystals from the C-class teleporter. At most, it's worth 1.2 million. 2 million. He simply lost a lot. He asked Chung Xiaoyu to take a step back. 120 watts. And Chung Xiaoyu's face changed in a second. Smile pleasantly. The 3 C-level transfer ports have a total of 3.6 million transactions. It's so easy to compromise. Chung Xiaoyu took out a jar. After the drug is imported. Then Chung Xiaoyu turned around and left. He said to his subordinates, it seems that we have encountered more powerful than we thought. The rich second generation called to tell Chung Xiaoyu. He has already received 3.6 million transfers. He was surprised. Said that Xiaoyu was sold to the office of the second management section of the American Grievance Brigade. The subordinate told him, there are also many C-class transfer ports in the company area, and the price is less than 60,000 yuan. The rich second generation didn't have an appointment for a place. This time, it is considered to have lost his wife and his soldiers. Not only did I not dig Chung Xiaoyu, I was also deceived by him. She was angry. Could it be that Chung Xiaoyu is not afraid of the fish dying and the net will be broken? That's when he received a text message from an unknown number. It says, I'm Chung Xiaoyu. You're investigating me behind my back. Now it's a write-off. Although he was not won over this time, the villain gave a blackmailed look. But it was also kind of getting his number. After all, The ultimate goal is to win over Cheng Xiaoyu. The money spent today is nothing to the White Tiger Guild, although it will be scolded by the president. Cheng Xiaoyu found a hidden person and broke his wrist. This time, I asked for leave from the rich second generation. It's specially for this to open the door to job transfer. Cheng Xiaoyu is looking forward to it. What kind of monsters will exist in this? Now the game is finally about to begin. I've all played the job change in the game. But have you ever seen a live-action version of a job change? I believe that those who have played the dungeon know it. When the specified level is reached, you'll be prompted to make a job change. And our male protagonist will also usher in his transfer. Just entered the port. He saw a knight with a sword running towards him. He slashed straight at Cheng Xiaoyu. Cheng Xiaoyu dodged the situation. The crackling caused him multiple blows. But it didn't do any harm. Fortunately, this guy is not very good. Just because the armor is too thick. He couldn't hurt his father with a knife. And slow to act. The power is also insufficient. The only thing you can do is defense. He swings with a lot of movement. Looks flawed. Deal with this invulnerable enemy. Cheng Xiaoyu had already encountered it once before. He grabbed the knight's head. Ringed his head to pieces. Only to find out that this monster only has armor. The inside was empty. It's the same place as a normal dungeon. The final boss must be solved to get out. It's different. No recovery potions can be used here. It's embarrassing. Cheng Xiaoyu is relatively easy to use stealth and hit the vital point. All need to consume a lot of power. The rank is unknown. I can't recover and I haven't returned. It seems that this job transfer task should not be underestimated. Cheng Xiaoyu suddenly remembered that today's daily tasks had not been done yet. I thought that the job transfer mission would be over soon. Save it for the evening. It's hard to say what this situation is now. In case it's the same as last time. Over 12.6 of the cost of the acceptance system. You have to complete the job transfer task quickly. Get out of the field. And at this time, multiple knights appeared behind him. Cheng Xiaoyu dropped the torch. A punch over. Knocked down a few in an instant. Then he jumped and swiped together. He took away the head of a knight. The remaining one strangled with his hand. Squeeze hard. Perfectly deal with nearby enemies. Lots of nice items dropped from knight corpses. Cheng Xiaoyu picked up the cuirass equipment of the senior knight. Putting on the cuirass showed the silhouette on him. He picked up a money bag equipped with 30,000 gold coins. I just wanted to open it and take a look. Otherwise, he will be agitated. Pick up the short knife and poke it behind you. A knight who wants to stealthily sneak attack. I haven't had time to be surprised. A fireball behind him hit Cheng Xiaoyu. He turned his head to look. A magician with a scepter. His hands are whirring. These two skills are no stranger to Cheng Xiaoyu. It's all the skills that those hunters possessed in both accidents. It feels like reliving the previous fight. Cheng Xiaoyu suddenly felt it. This dungeon is even trickier than you think. There are various types of monsters. And each type of monster corresponds to a statistic. Knights are power. Assassins are quick to feel the bow gestures. Magic tests physical strength. Which attribute is lower in one's body? It's harder to deal with monsters. And Cheng Zhao's lowest attribute is intelligence. Now you can only save as much mana as possible. It's only in the ultimate animation that you have to fight. And now there's another trouble. Over time, fatigue and power is gradually increasing. Cheng Xiaoyu must hurry up and end the fight. The longer the time drags on, the more bad it is for him. He sat on the floor to relieve his fatigue. Ijijin suddenly shot at him, and it was okay. Said that Xiao Yu's eyes were about to catch it. Look up. A few more monsters appeared. Don't give him time to rest at all. After a crackling beating, he eliminated the nearby mobs again. And this time, luckily, he got the water gate. One bite down. His tired body was relieved. By killing countless mobs. He's moved up quite a bit. I also got a lot of useful equipment. But even if he goes up a lot, I still can't feel the strength of the guy behind the door. She gently pushed open the door to the final boss's room. A chill wafted out of it. made Cheng Xiaoyu shudder. Torches do not ignite spontaneously. The entire hall was lit up with torches. At the end of the passage, a solemn shadow was released. Then he appeared with eyes, ear, fingers. All the senses remember it. It's the same feeling as when you're in a double dungeon. It's a breath of suffocation, slowly blooming from the body of this bright red armored knight. How strong is the transfer boss? The light came to you. The coercion was already chilling, and his name is as red as his body. And the monster with the red name represents that the strength is far above Cheng Xiaoyu. But Cheng Xiaoyu must defeat this knight who guards the throne, to be qualified to sit in that chair. He rushed over with a long golden knife. Slide forward. The sky suddenly fell apart behind him. It's not the same level as those miscellaneous soldiers. This guy is 999 with one knife. Cheng Xiaoyu slammed him with a short sword. Sure enough, it can't be pierced. And the Red Knight continued to wield his golden sword. Slammed into Cheng Xiaoyu. Suddenly the sky was filled with smoke. A golden flash erupted from the smoke. A long sword burst out of the smoke. If it weren't for Cheng Xiaoyu's quick response, it was directly exposed. Cheng Xiaoyu squatted on the ground and gasped. This guy is simply a hexagonal warrior. Speed, strength, and defense are all top-notch existences. He's incredibly powerful. Knowing that the dagger was of little use to him, Cheng Xiaoyu simply put it away. This monster can only be dealt with by brute force. It was seen that Xiaoyu put away his weapon. The Red Knight plunged his sword into the ground. Untie your cloak. Throw it on the ground. Take out the dagger behind you. And he was thrown to the ground. Loosen the bones of the hand. Same as Cheng Xiaoyu. Only hands remain. Cheng Xiaoyu was stunned. I can't see that this guy is so chivalrous. It seems to be underestimated. The light Red Knight ran towards him. Cheng Xiaoyu hasn't reacted yet. He was already choked by the Red Knight. Grab the hat. Lunge forward. The powerful impact dented the walls. It's not buffered yet. The Red Knight swung his fist at him again. It feels good. One more punch. There was a banging sound. Cheng Xiaoyu escaped from the beating. He felt pain all over his body. Although wearing full armor, it still cost him 500 points. If you don't have armor, the consequences are unimaginable. This guy is still so strong without weapons. How can such a guy be defeated? Since the strength can't be compared, that's speed. As long as it's fast enough. The Red Knight couldn't catch him after a sprint. Cheng Xiaoyu appeared in front of the Red Knight. Unexpectedly, the Red Knight saw through Cheng Xiaoyu's dissatisfaction. He raised his elbow and slammed it into Cheng Xiaoyun's head. Cheng Xiaoyu hurriedly blocked it with her hand. Bounced off by the Red Knight. He stretched out his hand hammer to Cheng Xiaoyu again. The two of them incarnated as the thousand-armed Guanyin Dan. Punch each other with your fists at great speed. But people make mistakes. The machine can be on and on. Cheng Xiaoyu only made a mistake of 0.01 seconds. Was seized by the Red Knight. Smack. Cheng Xiaoyu original place. Fortunately, when his physical strength dropped below 30%, reduces damage taken by passive skills by 50%. Immediately, Cheng Xiaoyu recovered his nose blood. With the help of a spinning slam dunk. A kick to the Red Knight in the face. But the thunder could not move. His eyes flashed. Reached out and grabbed Cheng Xiaoyu's feet. Swing your fist with the other hand. Bang hit Cheng Xiaoyu. Crash into the wall of the throne. Dropped. Just on top of the throne. This is the transfer boss. The strength is terrifying. Even if there are no weapons. The speed power is also far above Cheng Xiaoyu. Cheng Xiaoyu was punched hard. Slammed into the wall. Just sitting down on the king's chair. The Red Knight came to him. Stretch out your palm. A sword stuck in the ground. Be called. The brush flew into his hand. He caught the sword. Straight to Cheng Xiao and neck skin. Cheng Xiaoyu directly came to pick up the white blade empty-handed. The right hand sizzled. Summons his dagger. Punched the knight in the eye. And this move can deal damage to the Red Knight. He looked up to the sky and roared. Cheng Xiao pursued with Cheng Sheng, pounced on his body and hugged it. Push him against the wall behind him. Draw the dagger in the eye to the knight. A white light came out of his eyes, and Cheng Xiaoyu recalled the short sword in the Red Knight's hand. Then summon him out again. Poke into the Red Knight's jaw. But it's not deep enough. He activates his skills to hit the vital point. A roar. Use all your strength. Poked it in hard, until the red flag is white, and there is no god in the eyes. Plop hammer sat on the ground. Cheng Xiaohe gasped for breath. Finally killed him. This guy is no less powerful than a hunter. On ability, the technical strength is amazing. Cheng Xiao can compare to him with nothing. Can defeat him. It's all a fluke, and one of the main characters in him. After each monster kill, the most exciting thing is to take the loot. And the items dropped by the boss are easy to get excited. The Red Knight drops 4 items are all of good grade. The most basic money bag also has 1.5 million. Directly turned Cheng Xiaoyu's deposit over. It's rare. And his level 4 equipment Red Knight helmet. This is also the first weapon that Cheng Xiaoyu obtained. The ability to equip is worth improving. It's not the same water as the previous equipment. There is also a sound recordist who doesn't know what skills to install. An immediate return. This is puzzling. It's already been killed. How will it be given when returning? Isn't the mission over yet? That's when the colors come to mind. Ghosts entangle portals with purple lightning bolts. And more than one. More and more spooky portals appear pop-up quests. Start now. What do you think it's over when you kill the boss? It turns out that it is just the beginning. Players are prompted to accumulate as much as they want. Good luck when you need to change jobs. The timer begins. Tut-tut. Out of the portal came multiple Iron Knights. Soon, the entire temple is already infested with enemies. How difficult is this job transfer task? Thought. Kill the final boss and you're done. I didn't expect it to be just the beginning. Cheng Xiaoyu has to survive in this enemy on the street. The longer you hold on, you will be able to accumulate more points that you need when you change classes. Cheng Xiao and the rest of the mana are only 390 points. Using an invisibility skill costs 200 points. Plus keep it on the body. Every second consumes a little bit of a method. This means that he can survive for 3 more minutes. The Iron Knight looked confused at Cheng Xiaoyu, who suddenly disappeared. They looked around. But it's not that good. There is also the presence of mages in the field. The mage stretched out his hands to perform his skills. Probing eyes. A giant eye emerges from his head with a brush. When the giant eyes opened, Cheng Xiaoyu, who was invisible, also revealed his location. Saw Cheng Xiaoyu reappear. The Iron Rider was quick to react. They brandished their weapons and slashed at Cheng Xiaoyu. And Cheng Xiaoyu quickly flashed behind them. One grabbed one in one hand and threw it into the sky. Iron Ride nearby. Hearing the sound, he rushed over. Cheng Xiaoyu glared back. Turn on murderous aura. The Iron Knight's entire bodies froze in an instant. And he only had enough to use this skill once. Take advantage of this time to kill a few more. The knights were like moths to a fire. Scramble to rush forward. Destroy their speed. Far less than they could get out of the portal. Soon, Cheng Xiaoyu was invincible. I was stabbed. There is less than 1/10 of the health bar left. And so on. It's going to hang here soon. It seems that if you can only use it with a relapse stone, you will have to abandon the mission. He looked up. Only 5 minutes had passed. Although very unwilling. But he has no chance of staying here. But he just wanted to get out. He was struck in the face by an Iron Knight with a hammer. Fall flat on one's face. It was also gone when it returned. The Iron Rider approached step by step. Cheng Xiaoyu suddenly broke out, struggling to his feet. Her eyes were full of determination. It can't just end there. I finally survived until now. Even if there is only 1 drop of strength left. I have to squeeze him dry, too. Bang bang bang. He continued to kill the Iron Rider with all his might. But in the end, they were outnumbered. caught by one of the knights. A heavy blow was hammered on him. She also fell heavily to the ground. Once again, he sensed that the Grim Reaper's justice would not be at his disposal. In a trance, he also saw his own figure. He told Cheng Xiaoyu, "It's too early to give up. You're not strong yet. You haven't protected your family yet." Just as the knight brandished his weapon and was about to cut down, time came to an abrupt end. It was exactly the same as it was then. If luck is a strength, that Cheng Xiaoyu is the one who is full of luck. In critical moments, system dailies pop up, warn him for failing to meet his deadlines. Punishment is about to be taken. The remaining time is 8 seconds, 7 seconds, and 6 seconds. 1 second and 0 seconds. The notification moves to the penalty zone. Iron Rider looked confused. It's a lonely one. Here he is again. This scorching sun is in the sky. Heat up the desert for dogs. There is a kind of luck called the power of the protagonist. Whenever you're dying, something can always happen to save your life. And Cheng Xiaoyu is the same scene as the protagonist's own role. Not the same luck. The daily was not completed because it had timed out. He was forcibly teleported from under the knife to the castle. Less than 1 per 1,000 of physical strength left. Fatigue is also at an all-time high. He opened the item store. Bought the most expensive potion. I cleared all the fatigue. But the physical strength was not restored. In case of serious injury, no one can save even medicine. He can only wait for himself to recover naturally. Fortunately, upgrading in the punishment zone can restore your stamina. Although Cheng Xiaoyu has the remaining physical strength, but the fear of clearing fatigue is unprecedented. I just don't know if the monsters here are angry enough. Kill, kill, kill. A number of centipede spirits sprang out of the ground. They opened their abyssal mouths and rushed towards Cheng Xiaoyu. Cheng Xiaoyu doesn't have to be the same as last time. I can only take care of running. He jumped to his feet. Jumped to the head of the clerk. Poke him in the head with a short sword. The penalty mission timer begins. The remaining time is 4 hours. These were monsters that were nightmares. At this moment, in the Cheng Xiao universe, it is a matter of one punch. After a fight, he killed all the centipede spirits. It has risen several levels in a row. Both stamina and mana are restored to full state. At this point, there are 3 minutes left in the penalty time. 19 seconds. Just time to spare. Prepare that Kasaka Fangs alone will not be able to penetrate the Iron Knight's defenses. He needed a more powerful weapon. He opened the weapons store. Pick a short sword called the Night Killer. It took 2.8 million game coins to take him down. Expensive though. The bonus is terrifying. Kill heavy tanks. The opponent does not add 20% damage. He also bought a bandage. Tie the weapon of the hand tightly. In this way, it will not fall out of your hand like a returned stone. Equipment purchased. He pulls out the marble stone that he dropped when he kills the Red Knight. Killed Wu Haoyan last time. The Ruyun stone he got allowed him to learn Genshin Impact. This time he gains the hand of the skill dominator. Action skills do not require the use of mana. No direct touch is required. Can have a physical impact on things. Cheng Xiaoyu remembered it suddenly. Isn't this the Red Knight's star-absorbing method? He was suddenly a treasure. Reach out and suck at the carcass of a giant centipede in the distance. However, the proficiency is too low. The giant centipede didn't move at all. At this point, the system reminds you that the penalty time is about to end. Imminent return to onset of illness. Cheng Xiaoyu can make all the preparations. The rest can only be left to the so-called luck. Return to the career shrine. It's only been a few hours. The temple was already packed with Iron Riders. See the enemy appear. Iron rode up. Well prepared. Plus 280W. He succeeded in tearing the Iron Rider apart. The Night Killer is really not powerful. With bare hands. Efficient too. Oddly enough, Cheng Xiaoyu obviously killed a lot of straight Iron Riders. I don't feel any increase in experience points. And the magician behind him kept chanting the incantation. But no attacks were launched. That means he's a summoner. Over time, Knights will appear in a steady stream from the teleport, and they don't have initiative. Kill them. Like killing a dinosaur. That's why there won't be any XP gains. That's you. A summoning magician. He jumped. Cross the Iron Rider. Throw the weapon straight at the magician, accompanied by the death of the magician. The Iron Rider who was summoned. The Iron Rider brush fell. But it's not over yet. Gotta find the remaining magicians. Enable skill stealth. Suddenly 5 probing eyes were drawn. Although Cheng Xiaoyu also exposed the location. But at the same time, it also lets him know the location of the magician. How difficult it is to summon monsters. It's only been a short time. He summoned the Iron Riders who filled the hall. All they need to do is hide behind the Iron Rider and sneak in the shadows. No amount of bells and whistles can escape their destiny. Although Cheng Xiaoyu's location was exposed, but it also allowed him to discover the location of the magician. He uses the hand of the skill dominator to summon the short sword back. Jump straight in front of a magician. Swiped a few times. Kill him. There are 4 left. He went on a rampage. Kill all the Iron Riders who stand in your way. With knights. The killer suddenly sharpened iron like clay in his hands. The hand of the skill ruler of the heart. It is also easy to use. With a snap, the head of an Iron Rider was lost in the air. In a few moments, the corpses that fell at his feet were all over the ground. Suddenly, an Iron Rider stabbed him in the back. He turned around, split his head in half in an instant. Endure the pain. He drew the sword that was stuck in his body towards the magician who is hiding behind the Iron Knight. How long will you hide behind? A thud flashed in front of the magician. Wipe him out with a single stroke of the knife. The remaining 3 magicians felt that something was wrong. They shifted their tactics. Gather together. Slap the ground with both hands. Summons a huge magic circle. Journey. The corpse at Xiao's feet suddenly trembled. Melt like mud. In a few moments it regrouped into a huge one. And this Iron Horseman, though powerful, is enormous. Punch down. The earth shakes the mountains, but the speed is very cumbersome. Cheng Xiao ended with the action. After a few brushes, it jumped on his head. Activates the critical strike of the skill. Wiped out the iron weapon in an instant. Also thanks to this group of mages. Outsmart oneself. Cheng Xiaoyu found the remaining 3 magicians at once. He rushed forward. Boom. Instantly kill the 3 magicians. With their deaths, the Iron Riders in the arena fell apart like puppets with broken strings. System prompts. All the monsters of the Envoy Fat have been destroyed. The job transfer mission ends. Depending on the number of upgrade points you earn and your transfer to a premium class, the player's actions will be analyzed. Gives the player the right class. Cheng Xiaoyu was a little surprised. Didn't the father and daughter choose themselves? However, he felt that the main addition to the stats was strength and agility. So either it's a fighter with strong attack power, or an assassin with high agility, or the system may judge that the stamina is high. Pick a tank for him. And what Cheng Xiaoyu hopes for most is an assassin. But it doesn't matter which one it is. It's all up than it is now. After a while, the system determines that the player is stuck at the point, always filled with the breath of death. The path the player passes through is piled with dead bodies. It smelled of blood. In addition, players crave great power. But it is not dependent on peers. Rather, it is to carve out high on its own. Your thirst for great power. Enough to summon the undead dragon that wanders through the canyon of death. This is an army of the undead who obey you. Will not rely on anyone. Just laugh for you. Cheng Xiaoha stunned me. He never expected it to be such a profession. Necromancer. I never thought that I didn't add any intelligence. The result of his systematic analysis was actually a necromancer. Speak systematically. Necromancers can summon powerful servants. And what a terrifying existence with a powerful army of the undead. But what does this have to do with Cheng Xiaoyu? The weapon he used was a short sword used by assassins. The skills gained are also similar to those of the assassin. The mage class does not make the warlock stronger. So, the skills and stats that are used to fight may be useless. Fortunately, it is not a mandatory system. Still gave Chung Xiaoyu the right to accept and refuse. Chung Xiaoyu chose to refuse without thinking about it. The system reminded him that necromancer was a hidden class. Are you sure you want to say no? This made Chung Xiaoyu hesitate. There aren't many opportunities to hide your career. It is rumored that the leader of the White Tiger Guild, the S-Class Hunter White-Green, is good. Possess skills that can transform into a monster. Hunters with these special abilities all entered the large guilds. Enviable privileges in your hands. Chung Xiaoyu looked at the corpse of the necromancer on the ground. These warlocks are a little weaker though. But the summoned Iron Rider almost made him hang here. In contrast them, Chung Xiaoyu also has combat power and skills. A magician with excellent combat effectiveness. And there is a team of its own. Maybe one person can conquer a high-level dungeon above B. In dungeons, abilities are affected by skill level and status. And the summoning spell will also be upgraded together. In other words, it is not only Chung Xiaoyu who is upgrading. It's an army escalating. The more Chung Xiaoyu thought about it, the more excited she became. The accept career system was selected. Confirmation instruction received. Perform the next step to calculate the time to live. And convert it into upgrade points. The brush has exceeded its projected survival time. Bonus points are granted. Not used. You can then give additional points when you return. More than 50% of your remaining stamina. Bonus points are granted. To destroy all enemies. Bonus points are granted. The total number of upgrade points exceeds the achievement limit. Transition from Necromancer to Shadow King. Boom. A dark aura quickly flew towards Chung Xiaoyu from all directions. Wrap around him. Body. Earn title by acquiring class-specific skills and earning bonus points. The winner of adversity reaches a certain level in the dungeon. There will be a chance to transform into the final form. The final form of a warrior is a berserker. The knight is a juggernaut. Enchanter. It's the great magician. And Chung Xiaoyu's necromancer is the Shadow King. Some people even spend a lifetime to improve. And Chung Xiaoyu arrived in less than a day. He could feel screams of pain all around him. Appeared on the corpse of the Iron Rider. System prompts. You can extract the other party's secrets. Cheng Shao and food. That's what a necromancer is capable of. Extract the host's shadow from the corpse. As your own servant. You'll be prompted to specify only a password for the ability to extract shadows. Chung Xiaohe hesitated for a moment. Shout at the Iron Rider and stand up. Sai. The Iron Rider received the order. Reacted. A pitch-black hand sprang out of the corpse. Slowly crawled out. Appear in front of your eyes. It was a figure covered in darkness. How fragrant it is to be a shadow monarch. All it takes is one sentence. Stand up. Can reinvent the bones of a dead soldier. Rebuild. The current level can be extracted 30 at once. And only 20 can be saved. That means he's going to get rid of 11. To vacate a space. To the Red Knight behind him. The lifted shadow will be sent back to the void. Cannot be summoned again. This made Chung Xiaoyu feel very guilty. He walked over to the Red Knight. Issue a summon passphrase. Stand up. Slowly emerged from his body. Then a powerful coercion came to his face. The system message indicates that the shadow extraction failed. Whether the shadow can be extracted. It is determined by the opponent's ability and the time of death. And the Red Knight is a boss-level monster. The time of death was also more than 4 hours. It's not easy to get this monster to surrender to itself. And he only recorded 3 times. After failing 3 times, he will have nothing to do with this spirit. Chung Xiaoyu tried to summon a second time. But it failed again. There's only one chance left. Chung Xiaoyu looked at the empty prince and made an inviting gesture. Said to the Red Knight, everyone is gone. You still guard the empty throne. Why are you here to protect me standing in front of you? How to stand up for it? My warrior brush. Endless darkness was unleashed from him. They left. Bright red corpses. condensed into a new body, the Black Knight of Yeglet. He solemnly knelt in front of Xiaoyu in the new monarch city with a knightly salute. Under other shadows, people are also like the emperor's soldiers. Brush and kneel. Chung Xiaoyu walked out of the teleport. I found that I had gone home the next morning to make up for it. Woken up by a phone call. My sister called. Remind her. 5 o'clock didn't pass. She's going to school. She's just remembering. Today, I made an appointment to visit the school's home. Hurriedly get up and clean up after yourself. I thought it was the first time I went with my parents. You still have to dress decently. She went to the bank to withdraw some money. After the counter lady saw her balance, Dr. Kim had 8.6 million barrels at a young age. Hunters turned out to be so profitable. It seems that this young man is not low-level. Then skillfully pick up the investment product and sell it. After dressing yourself up, she came to school. My sister almost didn't recognize her when she saw it. Got a haircut, plus a formal suit. She was the same as before. The students couldn't help but dig it out when they saw it. Who is this graduate? Such a handsome student. It's impossible for me not to be impressed. Could it be that a new teacher came to the parent meeting room? The teacher was surprised. I thought hunters would be rough men. I didn't expect this guy to be quite handsome. He fell into the city. Xiaoyu sat down and said to Chung Xiaoyu, "Do not worry. Your sister not only got good grades in school, people are also very kind. His goal is one big. The results of this mock exam were good. Usually the grades are also excellent. One should be fine. Let Chung Xiaoyu not have to put too much pressure on him." Then the conversation changed. Ask Chung Xiaoyu, "I heard you're a hunter. If Xiaoya is sentenced to be an awakened, will you make him a hunter?" Chung Xiaoyu was stunned. Then he said categorically, "I won't hear it," and the teacher breathed a sigh of relief. He told Chung Xiaoyu, "Recently, a student at the school was judged to be an awakened. After that, I wanted to drop out of school. Now I don't even go to school. If he continues to be absent from school, the school had no choice but to take action against him." The teacher didn't know much about hunters. He just felt that it was a pity to give up his studies directly in order to be a hunter. At least it's better to go after finishing the Knight and Brother Rin's certificate. Chung Xiaoyu asked the teacher, "What is that student's awoken level?" The teacher told him, "I heard that it is the lowest grade." Chung Xiao had a bad premonition in her heart. Tier 1 hunters don't live long in dungeons. Tell him honestly. This student is your sister's friend. It's called Han Songi. Hearing this, the self-proclaimed Xiaoyu was stunned for a moment. People don't know names, but it's familiar. He is the young kid in the rich second-generation attack team. It's a small world. Chung Xiaoyu ran into him as soon as he walked out of school. Tan Songyun looked surprised, looked at Chung Xiaoyu, and asked, "Uncle, why are you here?" Chung Xiaoyu didn't say a word. Show her a photo with her sister. Han Songi immediately knew why Chung Xiaoyu came. He told Chung Xiaoyu to die of this heart. "I wasn't interested in going to school. I don't want to give up being a hunter either." Who knows that Chung Xiaoyu doesn't play cards according to the routine. Not only did he not persuade him to give up, he also said that he would help him become an excellent hunter. For this kind of child, Chung Xiaoyu cannot personally experience the cruel and cold facts. He won't understand. Country H Airport. It's been a long time. He once again stepped into the country he had once abandoned. S-Class Hunter Huang Dongshu. How terrifying are S-Class hunters. Even the state and the law cannot bind them. Huang Dongshu Hunter, because of the death of his brother, specially returned from Anghua to the long-awaited scene. Not to hesitate to violate international law. The murderer of his brother will also be buried with him. 4 monsters of this level. Country H doesn't dare to be sloppy. Their every move. Get straight to the point. He told Huang Dongshu. It can make people who have already gone to Angola return to the combination they abandoned. That's for the first level hunter Chung Xiaoyu and the D-level hunter Lu Chenhao. Come on. This is H5, not a status that allows outsiders to go unpunished. The landlord's tree had a red glow in his eyes. It's quite well informed. But your country, H, inevitably looks down on me too much. Even if you want to stop me. He smiled faintly. Don't try it. Huang Dongshu admired it very much. The scavenger guild who wants to dig him up for a massage, and promised to give him even better treatment than now, is even very disgusted with Huang Dongshu's character. Before that, his elder brother Huang Dongshu received many Western medicine certificates. Because of Huang Dongshu's rights, it hasn't been able to solve it smoothly. This Huang Dongshu is the same as his brother. It's the garbage of society. There is not a trace of guilt in killing people. Cheng Xiaoyu took Han Foming to an unfinished village. Want to visit the Xinyun training ground? For Cheng Xiaoyu's active contact. Promise you right away. I also brought an assistant to meet the scene. Show Cheng Xiaoyu their excellent training system. Maybe it will make him feel good. He introduced Cheng Xiaoyu as seriously as a tour guide. The houses here are all abandoned. There is no one around. It is just the right place to visit and learn about the open sea class port. It's a burly build. Armored interrupted him. For Cheng Xiaoyu's sudden arrival, she was unhappy. I think Cheng Xiaoyu came to the dungeon to play. This person's name is Wang Zhi, just like her figure. Is a first-class meat team. This time the attack teammate is a level 1, 7B and 4C grades. Cheng Xiaoyu has some differences. It's just a C-class port. Isn't it a bit of an exaggeration to shoot this lineup? No matter how high the level is in their guild. Also newcomers. You have to start with the easy ones first. Familiarize yourself with the company's rules and gain experience. Cheng Xiao thought it was too easy to play a group. It is estimated that the effect will be greatly reduced. But that's fine. On the contrary, it can make Han Songi understand the gap between him and the other hunters. Knowing how helpless a level 1 hunter is in a dungeon, the hand whispered to Cheng Xiaoyu, "This one is too easy for you. Today you're watching the game." Han Songi can't wait. But at the same time, there was a hint of nervousness. After watching Han Song enter, Cheng Xiaoyu also followed, reincarnated into it. That moment, he froze. A feeling of restlessness arises spontaneously. From the original pure blue to the weird, Cheng Xiaoyu could feel that the dimension was fluctuating. It feels different from the portrayal that you used to pass through. His whole body was resisting. His instincts told him, "It's dangerous here, get out of here." But it was too late. Powerful energy sucked it in. A moment before entering, he lifted it with all his might. Call the main attack fleet right away. After speaking, he was sucked into the red abyss. It's not something that can be solved by calling the main strike team. Contact the president directly. Red port. The captain slapped the table and stood up in shock. How can a sea-level teleportation appear red? If what you say is true, then I'll have to see for myself what it is. It was to alarm the leaders of the large guilds. Personally rushed to the scene to rescue. But even he couldn't do anything about it. The entrance to the cave was tightly blocked. She frowned. But it says it's a C-class port. Pretending to be confused all the time. The president gritted his teeth. I secretly scolded these bastards in my heart. But as an S-class hunter, he has nothing to do. Normal red portals can only be found in high-level dungeons. After the port, it's another world. It is impossible to intervene from the outside. Only the port can be opened by itself. In terms of energy density, this port is at least three-dimensional. If you're unlucky, maybe it's AG or higher, but at least it won't be S-class. The appearance of the S-class port. It would plunge the whole country into crisis. But even if it's a collection port, they are also largely unsurvivable. If you're lucky, maybe only 2 or 3 high-level hunters will be able to get away with it. inside except for their own people. 2 more people also went in. One of the hunters is special. The president looked surprised. What is the rank of this hunter? A or B? Could it be that he is coming to the S class? It's hunters who walk into the dungeon together. Come to a place where it's snowy and icy. They don't know how dangerous it is yet. I just don't think this place is a dungeon portal. I don't know why it's gone. Chung Xiaoyu looked around. No anomalies were noted. Could it be a portal to another world? Thinking about him, 2 cloud-piercing arrows flew straight over. In the imminent shooting, Hansong was caught by Chung Xiaoyu for a while. The other one was not so lucky. A snap went straight to the door of the head. The people around shouted in panic when they saw this. It's a raid on the trees. It's those guys. Chung Xiaoyu suddenly realized. It turned out to be this kind of monster. So far away. No wonder their presence is not felt. People who haven't seen them. They are all called Tokyoite. But the hunters who fought with them will be filled in another way. They are not the same as the wonderful name of the elves. The other name represents their miserable lifespan. That's the white dog. And these monsters are quite intelligent. Pick soft persimmons and pinch them. If only it had been 2 months ago. That Chung Xiaoyu will also become one of their first targets. Seeing his own assassination captured, the 100 ghosts looked at Chung Xiao with a cruel smile and gave him a thumbs up. Chung Xiaoyu felt provoked. He gave the woman the bow and arrow in his hand. I thought to myself that I would definitely catch you with my own hands. The A-class captain said to everyone with a serious face. I don't know if you have noticed. We're now at the red port. Or catch the ultimate blast. Or all die here. Or wait for the dungeon to get out of hand. Open the port. The portal won't open until then. Even if there are reinforcements, they can't get in. In other words, now I can only fight on my own. I work as a driver in a big run as well as a hunter. Huang Dongshu sat leisurely in the back seat. He said expressionlessly, I'm not interested in people who are already dead. Instead, the crumbs who killed my brother makes me more interested. Through powerful information technology, he found the dungeon that Chung Xiaoyu had just entered. His eyes were full of murder. The rules in the dungeon are not the same as the rules in this world. So I killed the people inside. You can't take care of it. Undocumented people can grow. Red portals are usually only found in high-level dungeons. Unexpectedly, it appeared in this ordinary C-level dungeon. Once in the hunters, you can only fight alone inside. The rescue captain, who couldn't contact the outside world, stepped forward. He solemnly introduced himself to everyone and tell everyone that they will take responsibility for everyone's lives. But he can't guarantee that everyone will make it back alive. It will take months to wait for the dungeon to get out of hand. If there is no guarantee, it's hard to say that everyone will survive. The difficulty of the red portal is at least B. There is a lot of danger here. It's too hard to lead so many people. Therefore, he intends to form another crusade to act with him. Stay here, or freeze to death, or get killed by those guys. He asked the people who wanted to be with him. The strong take the lead, and naturally followers are indispensable. Not to mention this dungeon where the danger level is unknown. It's always okay to be around people of high rank. Everyone joined the raiding party. Get rid of those who are of low rank. He didn't want to bring any of them. If the worst happens here, they're probably going to have to stay here for several people. In this case, he didn't want to take it with him. He told the cumbersomes, don't let them be too early. If only they could live until they get rid of the ultimate treasure. It is also safe to get out of here. At this time, a good-looking young lady interrupted their opponent. In front of the captain, he proposed to lead the team to Qingshao. The captain thought to himself, what's going on with this woman? Compassion overflows. I'm not in a hurry with you. Instead, I'm going to go with them. But on the surface, it looks like it doesn't matter. Said to the woman, you are free. Then he said to Lei Zhenzi, there's also a spot here. You can still come by yourself. The one who just got rejected. Stand up and grab a spot right away. Although the strong all went to the side of the first-class captain. But Chung Xiaoyu was worried about them. When the steel ice sword flew over, even the captain didn't find out. But the sharp-eyed young lady spotted her intuition. Tell him, follow Chung Xiaoyu will be safe. So he came to the cumbersome teammates. Chung Xiaoyu. I was a little surprised by the young lady. The same as a newcomer. In the face of such unexpected events, she seemed extraordinarily calm. The young lady told him, the White Tiger Palace will be the first education for newcomers. Anything can happen in a dungeon. Be calm. Find everything you can break through. Anti-newcomer. So, a high-level hunter like the king. He also received other special education. He was going to join the White Tiger Guild's elite attack team. Finish your team. They walked into the forest in 2 ways. The young lady curiously asked Chung Xiaoyu what kind of book he was. Chung Xiaoyu did not answer. Even she didn't know what level she was now. And the young lady guessed that this man's rank was at least. Maybe. On the other hand, Wang Zhe was still unhappy about the young lady's pair. She didn't understand. There are still people who are stupid. Don't follow the attitude of being a strong man and go to an E-class hunter team. Most of them are C-level hunters. The highest is only B grade. Otherwise, he felt strange. Why do you take it for granted? The first level is right or wrong on Ms. Zhao's side. But so what? It's just a dying man. He raised the great axe in his hand. Command the people to fight. Start the port. In order to gain the trust of Qing Xiao and the hunter, I've been helping him hide his secrets. He's supposed to be a second awakener. But after all, it's just speculation. He didn't dare to be arbitrary. Instead of pinning your hopes on someone who is unknown, the president believes in Wang Zhi, who is auspicious. If only the president could meet Chung Xiaoyu in person. That's certainly understandable. He swore to the president. Wang Zhi will not have a problem. His training results are outstanding. Combat effectiveness compared to the elite of the White Tiger Guild. The attacking power of the team is not inferior. But what you are talking about? First-class hunter Qing Xiao. Compared to the kind of unidentified hunters, too. Or is our king more reliable? This guy usually likes to be competitive in the company. Now I am trying to destroy the morale of others. Raise your self-prestige. But who's right and who's wrong? We'll know when the results come out. Suddenly, a big bus stopped at the scene. I saw President Huang Dongshu. His expression suddenly became sleek. This man is an S-class hunter of the Scavengers Guild. Huang Dongshu. How did he come? Huang Dongshu looked at the president with a wicked smile and said, Long time no see. White-green number. Bai Luhao's expression was solemn. The body rustles. His yellow hair suddenly turned white. He asked Huang Dongzi that he should not only return to China and the 2 countries, return to the territory of the White Tiger Guild. Here's what to do. Huang Dongshu is not angry and arrogant. He asked if white-green was good. I also want to ask you, what the hell do you think? He actually wanted to recruit that guy into the White Tiger Palace. Bai Luhao looked confused. Who are you talking about? Huang Dongshu told you. I'm talking about that level 1 garbage. Chung Xiaojiang. Bai Luhao looked surprised. What's going on? How can even Huang Dongshu know about him? Who is Chung Xiaoyu sacred? Let a hunter who has betrayed the country come here to find him. Due to Class C port variation, hunters who enter C-class dungeons are forced to fight alone inside. The king, who is the captain, pulled together the higher-ranking players in the team into a team. A low-ranked team was left behind. Let them fend for themselves. He led his team to the territory of the white bear. A white bear pounced on him with its green fangs bared, stretching out his claws and slapping at the captain. But on the shield, the claws are all broken. He screamed in pain. The captain opened his shield, slashed with a giant axe, hunted the white bear in an instant. The team exclaimed. It's too strong. The hunter is very reliable. It's nothing to have him in this red portal. For the sycophants of the players. The captain was very satisfied. His face was overjoyed. He solemnly shouted something to the team. Until you get out of here. None of us can afford to let up. Cut off the flesh of these giant bears. When food. We still have a long battle to fight. He felt a pang of pride in his heart. Thanks to me, I was able to defeat these bears. Those guys. It is estimated that it has now become the belly of the bear. On the other side, Chung Xiaoyu and the others came to another forest. The young lady told everyone to stop. Go further. It's the territory of the white bear. You must return before the monsters are surrounded. Chung Xiaoyu agreed with him. Resolutely chose to enter the forest. The young lady was very puzzled. Felt that Chung Xiaoyu was killing himself. Chung Xiaoyu told me, if the forest is a bear's face, then in the forest, you just have to worry about the bears. Compared to ice cream with rationality. Or bears are better to use. The young lady suddenly realized. There are many white bears. It means that there are no magical beasts in the woods that can kill the white bear. That is, there is no need to worry about being inside. Near a monster that is more powerful than a white bear. Chung Xiaoyu saw that the young lady was thinly dressed. She opens her inventory, took out a sweater from it, and gave it to her. The young lady was stunned. It's subspace magic. And it's missing. Even if it's subspace magic, it can also only summon 2 or 3 low-level items. But she summoned a fierce one at once. Who the hell is he? After sending this kind of in and out of the dungeon, subspace magic isn't just something that just one player has. He asked Uncle Chung Xiaoyu. What the hell are you from? Chung Xiaoyu touched his head. Say, you were brought by me. So I'll be responsible for protecting you, and I don't have to ask what is going on. Then it refers to the public opinion. It's the same for everyone. Don't ask me any questions. Don't ask me for anything. At this time, a white bear came over. His eyes were full of murderous energy. Towards this group of intruders, the masses were suppressed by the white bear. Although it is said that as long as you are worried about the white bear. But this guy is the Warcraft Wong of the high-level dungeon. Fight by their rank. It's just dead. The young lady stepped forward. I want to block the snow. Chung Xiaoyu dragged her back. She told the crowd. I'll tell you in advance. I'll catch the monster alone. After all, this experience cannot be wasted. He walked straight to the bear. Replaced the title. Lone Wolf. The bear stretched out its claws. It slammed down with a snap, only to find that the enemy was already in his head at some point. Chung Xiaoyu stretched out his fist. A punch with bare hands. Smashed the bear's head out of shape. It slammed into the ground with a thud. Dumbfounded everyone. One punch knocked out the high-level demonic beast with just one punch. At night they sit by the campfire to keep warm, while leisurely eating roast bear meat. Chung Xiaoyu cleaned up all the white bears nearby. No white bear dared to come near this place anymore. Chung Xiaoyu stood up. Talked to the team. He had to go to sports. If you don't exercise, you will be punished. The team was stunned. Movement in the portal. What a strange person. Although Chung Xiaoyu no longer has to be afraid of punishment to divorce. But when you go inside, there's no one to protect your teammates. So you can only spare some time in the portal. Finish your daily workout. He jumped in the woods. Picked a place full of white bears. Say it out. Endless darkness was released from his body. Out of the darkness emerges a shadow warrior. Take advantage of this opportunity. Chung Xiaoyu wanted to see how strong these shadow warriors were. He gave the order to the emperor to go. Slow the shadows out. Shadows are slow. This is the first time Chung Xiaoyu has summoned them. Who can be better in the battle or the high-level Warcraft white bear? Chung Xiaoyu is looking forward to it. The two armies are at war. The infantry rushed forward first, crackling at the giant bear. Even if it is hit by a white bear, they can also respawn on their own. The mage chanted magic in the back. Burn at the giant bear. Powerful magic allows infantry to respawn quickly. The white bear was completely crushed unilaterally. Chung Xiaoyu, who was watching from the sidelines, was very satisfied. It's just that the mana consumption is a bit fierce. At this time, a giant bear with a scarred face appeared. Looking at this posture, it should be a slap in the face of Xiongda, and the shadows were scattered, although it can be reborn. But Chung Xiaoyu's mana was quickly consumed. Once the mana is depleted, the shadow can no longer be born again. And Chung Xiaoyu still has a trump card that did not appear. He said to the Black Knight beside him, "There you go." Ygritte received orders. The Black Knight is heroic. Come out boldly. Draw his sword. Fly towards Xiongda with a bang. The bear stretched out his claws and slapped at the Black Rider. But it didn't hit. The Black Knight is in good shape. Bypass his theater. Tear and pull. A stab was made to his shoulder. The pain made the white bear scream. The Black Knight flashed behind the bear. While he's not looking, pierced his other arm. Snored. Cut his other hand. And around him, I also made a cut in both feet. In Chung Zhao's stunned expression, the bear was covered in bruises. Loss of combat effectiveness. You can only look up to the sky and roar. The Black Knight rushed forward, pointing a long sword at the bear coat. Cut off his head in an instant. Then mention Big Brother Bear. Go straight to Chung Xiaoyu's side. Throw the bear head in front of Chung Xiaoyu. Knightly salute. Solemnly knelt in front of Chung Xiaoyu. This flowing movement stunned Chung Xiaoyu. Reminiscing about the battle with Ygritte. If at that time he had been using a sword, Chung Xiaoyu will have no chance of winning. Even Chung Xiaoyu's current book really wants to fight again. Chung Xiaoyu didn't have the confidence to beat him. He patted the knight on the shoulder and said hard to him. Then he spoke to the white bear carcass. Stand up. A black bear crawled out of the bear's large carcass. There are also black bear mobs around. Saw in front of me. The second leopard man, Chung Xiaoyu, smiled happily. It seems that the necromancer class has been chosen correctly, compared with Chung Xiaoyu's pleasing eyes. Wang Zhe looked very embarrassed. There were only 5 miles left of the great axe in his hand. The proudest defensive shield was also shattered. Standing in front of him was a huge avalanche. He was dragging a hunter in one hand. Tear him apart in front of him and fail. Teammates call out to him for help. He turned a blind eye. With high self-esteem, she fell into anxiety. He couldn't accept that fact. He is the one who wants to become the elite of the White Tiger Guild. In order to be an elite, he was even given special teachings. Still failed. He didn't accept what went wrong. It's food. It must be a problem with the food. As long as there is enough food, I won't be defeated by these mobs. Is sinking into the heart. He is a little 99. Suddenly, an ice arrow shot straight at his teammate next to him. He looked up and saw that it was 100 ghosts. What's going on? How could there be 100 ghosts in the snowman's territory? Teammates called out to him for help again. A knife stabbed at him with 100 ghosts. The sword grinned at him. Behind him, a giant ghost on a white horse looked at him squarely. He has always been a human being. I didn't expect that. Hunter himself, who was about to become the elite of the White Tiger Guild, failed here. The weapon was broken. The shield was also shattered. It's just the mob that makes him so unbearable. What's more, it's the unfathomable 100 ghosts behind him. He was terrified. He took a step and fled. The time inside the red portal is different from the outside. It's been 3 days inside. It was only 3 hours outside. They predicted that hunters below Class B were expected to die. On the inside, you have to face not only the harsh environment outside. There is also the problem of food. Want to eat the corpses of those high-level magical beasts. It is impossible for low-level hunters. Huang Dongshu was already impatiently waiting. It's hard to make a trip, but I can only wait here. Just about to leave. He suddenly remembered that Chung Xiaoyu was not a member of the White Tiger Guild. Then why did he enter the portal? He said to Uncle Huang Dong. I've known him for a long time. He wants to participate in CG team fights with decent income. Ask me for help. I had to introduce it here. Huang Dongshu's figure turned. stuck him in the neck. He's not stupid. Getting tighter and tighter. Ask him what he's hiding. Chang'e grabbed Huang Dongshu's hand. His eyes were full of murder. Stared at Huang Dongshu. Let him pull away loudly. Huang Dongshu smiled evilly. Are you ordering me? You're not in a position to command me. Seeing that Huang Dongshu didn't appreciate it, the president's domineering voice was exposed. He glared at Huang Dongshu. Do you want to fight? Huang Dongshu replied. Accompany you to the end. If this continues, it will lead to a battle between S-class hunters. The right hand of the Bailey sizzled. The wind tree's left hand sizzled. Two hands bumped together. Suddenly, the sparks collided, burst into a powerful impact. Immortals fight. Mortals suffered. After the smoke clears, Huang Dongshu was a little surprised. Actually blocked the attack of two S-class hunters. It's not easy. He rubbed his joints and laughed at himself. If you two don't stop right away, I'm afraid my arm is broken. He told Huang Dongshu. I was the first to doubt. Cheng Xiaoyu underwent a second awakening. But 2 months ago, I used the finest magic crystals to remeasure his mana. She's still level 1. Although I also feel sorry for the hunters of Huang Dongshu. But Cheng Xiaoyu did not eliminate Huang Dongshu of the entire attack team. Throw the sunglasses in your hand. I knew it was a trap. The prisoner was also a company of Lu Qing's construction company. As for Cheng Xiaoyu's excuse for just killing people, hear this. And his brother have a virtue. Huang Fengshu felt very disappointed, shook his face and left. Before leaving, he was fierce. The captain's men have never seen S-class hunters fight. Here is only when he knows Cheng Xiaoyu best. He also believed that Cheng Xiaoyu would definitely be able to move inside the teleport. The defeated Wang Zhe walked in the forest. He was cold and cold. I muttered inwardly. It's all because of the cold. And hungry for so many days. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been beaten like this. Soon he found out that it wasn't a white bear. Instead, they all died. Could it be that those guys killed the white bear? No, it can't be that they don't have the strength. It's 100 ghosts. The more he thought about it, the more scared he became. Hurry up and run. Then he spotted the hunters he looked down on. At this time, he was sitting in front of the campfire and eating barbecue leisurely. Chatting. He was also wearing a big sweater. Leave it on. Tents and various supplies were covered. His heart suddenly became angry. This group of guys turned out to be secretly hiding so many resources. He walked out with his scolding. Blamed them for secretly hiding so many resources. And his team was well equipped because of lack of food. The team members were suddenly too frightened to speak. Seeing that the people did not speak, he simply pointed his hand to him like a prisoner. Who hid these? I don't think you're all accomplices. If you can expose this person, I won't pursue the rest. Who the hell has the exclusive equipment? Put your companion to death. I count to 3 in 3 seconds. If you don't give it yet, I'll consider you all accomplices. 3-2, Wang Zhe was asking. But he already had a choice in mind. This one offered to leave the team. I made a mental plan from the beginning. Because there is no faith. One survived. In order to make sure there is enough food to eat. And went to the prisoner who was a young man. It's you. Wang Zhenjin. A hand was pressed on his head. Slap him on the ground. 8 and 8 all the way. Cheng Xiaohe looked at herself with disdain. Put your companion to death. But here it is. The wicked go away first. And so much trouble. The teammates looked at them with horror on their faces. What a hassle. Cheng Xiaoyu looked ahead. Although the enemy is invisible, but the smell of murder cannot be hidden. Kendo is recognized. The Ghost King on the white horse has simply slowly exposed his body. Behind him was densely followed by a group of white ghosts. The Ghost King was a little surprised. I can see through his eyes. It seems that there are talents available in the garbage. Chung Xiaoyu doesn't like to hear this. He asked the Ghost King, "You shouldn't be chasing me." The Ghost King looked surprised. Ask Chung Xiaoyu, "How will you understand our language?" Chung Xiaoyu himself was also very confused. Why can I talk to them? Is it because of the system? The Ghost King pointed to the 100 ghost beasts behind him. I was able to have a conversation. It's better that way. I would like to introduce you to a friend. You've seen it. She told me. There is a great man among the human race. He wants to fight you. And that's not the end of the story. Chung Xiaoyu has already taken down the head of the 100 ghosts. He asked the Ghost King, "What else do you have to say?" The Ghost King was speechless. Then he smiled hideously. What a funny guy. How terrifying are high-level dungeons. Just the mobs wiped out the team of high-level hunters, leaving the highest-ranking Captain Wang Jia to escape for a long time. Not to mention the owner of this dungeon, Hayaki. They have the same IQ as humans, able to communicate in their own words. Oddly enough, as a human being, Chung Xiaoyu can actually understand. Saw that his subordinates were killed by Chung Xiaoyu with one blow. The Ghost King did not have a trace of sadness. On the contrary, he looked happy. Chung Xiaoyu used a short sword to give the Ghost King a stab, but it was easily blocked. It seems that a fierce battle is inevitable. The Ghost King held the dagger in his hand, jumped off the horse, said to Chung Xiaoyu, "I have an offer that is also a good condition for you. But before that, I have a question for you. You are not human. Why stay with humans?" This question made Chung Xiaoyu confused. The Ghost King laughed. "It seems that you don't even know it yourself." A voice kept echoing in my head. "Kill the humans. But face you." I couldn't hear it. Chung Xiaoyu was thoughtful. Could it be a command similar to the system? The exception is for me alone. Is it because I became a player in the system? The Ghost King continued. "There is no need for you and me to fight. We also don't want to be hurt needlessly. Just leave the group behind you. I'll spare your life. How about this proposal?" Chung Xiaoyu did not answer. Instead, he asked the Ghost King 3 times. "Who are you? Where did it come from? Why kill humans?" The Ghost King just wanted to answer, but he was snorted. It was as if he had been pressed and fired an arrow upside down. Repeated output again. Just made Chung Xiaoyu into a fog. What's going on? Didn't want to answer my question? Or the system won't let you say? After the Oni King finished his proposal again, Chung Xiaoyu simply chose to refuse this time. The Ghost King's face turned pale. He asked Chung Xiaoyu, "Then you're just going to fight me and my soldiers? Do you think you can make up for the numerical disadvantage?" Chung Xiao laughed. "You say who is inferior? I saw that behind him. I don't know when it was already dark. His shadow warriors crawled out, scared his teammates out of the blue. The shadow soldier is the size of the shadow bear. What's going on today? How are there enemies everywhere? But this kind of soldier doesn't seem to be interested in me. It feels like someone is cue him." He turned his head. Suddenly, his teammates were so frightened that their hairs stood on end. The Ghost King disagreed. Laughed at Chung Xiaoyu. "That's just a little trick." Chung Xiaoyu sneered. "Is it really just a little trick?" The two armies started fighting as soon as they disagreed. Bare wide-open infantry. Then the Mage Queen of the palace. For a while, sparks were everywhere. The teammates fled in a hurry. This is a fairy fight. Mortals are far away. Soon Chung Xiaoyu agreed with the words of the Ghost King. He is indeed qualified to say that these are little tricks. Although Chung Xiaoyu's Shadow Warrior has a numerical advantage, but his magic couldn't support much. Even if a soldier can be constantly respawned, if you continue to be killed, there will still be fewer and fewer of them. But the most important question is not to. This level is higher than his. It's hard for him and the Black Knight to beat him combined. Ordinary Shadow Warriors weren't enough to tickle him. Unless you can extract another high-level shadow. He stepped on a sword. Bang! The body stepped out, and after that sword rolled on the ground for a few minutes. Landed firmly beside Wang Jia. Chung Xiaoyu jumped straight towards the Ghost King. Towards the Ghost King. The Ghost King dodged with a sturdy body. I want to use my feet to forge Xiao Yu's short sword. The dagger disappeared with a thud. Flashed to Chung Xiaoyu. The other hand stabbed straight into the head of the Ghost King. The Ghost King's face does not change. Block with the weapon in your hand. Chung Xiaoyu shifted the weapon to his left hand again. Attack again. Was still calmly blocked by the Ghost King. The Ghost King raised his knee and kicked at Chung Xiaoyu. A thud bounced him out. Rolled a few laps. Hit the ground a few meters away. The Ghost King smiled happily. It's been a long time since I've been so excited. And then there was a strange light above his head. Straight to the Ghost King. There was a loud rumbling sound. And this art explosion was arranged by Chung Xiaoyu. The interpretation of a shadow mage who is good at sneaking up on behind. The aim is to stall for a while. By the way, wake up the sleeping king. The king who woke up remembered it clearly. The last slap before falling unconscious was from Chung Xiaoyu. He glanced at the long sword next to his body. Hold him without hesitation. Chung Xiaoyu. Don't expect this trick to defeat the ghost. He looked at the sea of mushroom clouds in front of him and came out quickly. Don't be foolish. That damage won't kill you. Slowly emerge from the sea of fire. The figure of the Ghost Emperor. Not only unscathed. Even the face was full of pleasure. Flew straight towards Chung Xiaoyu. At the same time, Wang Zhe's eyes were full of murderous aura. Holding the long sword, he attacked Chung Xiaoyu. This made the Ghost King very happy. It seems that there are others who have the same goal as him. But he didn't know. This is Cheng Xiao and specially refracting the past for the king. He summoned Ygritte, who had been in ambush for a long time, away. Raise your sword. Stabbed straight into Wang Zhe's body. A mouthful of blood gushed out. He didn't know until he died. From the beginning. Chung Xiaoyu guessed it. Chung Xiaoyu's face was expressionless. Shout out that skillful slogan. Stand up. This extreme hunter didn't understand until he died. Every step he took had already been calculated by Chung Xiaoyu. He was beautiful in his life. Died. The corpse will also be used to stand up. Chung Xiaoyu's summoning password. His corpse howled in pain. The shadow pulled out of his corpse. Transformed into a giant shadow. The warrior knelt in front of Chung Xiaoyu. At first glance, it looks a lot bigger. System prompts. Please choose a name for the soldier. His name before his death was Wang Zhe. At first glance, it sounds like Wang Zhe. Chung Xiaoyu named him King Ein. He uses a meat shield as soon as he appears. The best provocation skill. It is worthy of the provocation of an A-class fighter. The Ghost King was immediately attracted. Turn the attack target to Ein. Ein raised his shield to block the Oni King's attacks. Remove the shield again. Pick up the axe in your hand and slash at the Ghost King. A Ghost King with a sturdy body. Easily dodged. Laugh at the loopholes on the sidelines. I want to win at such a slow pace. I don't play any. Chung Xiaoyu and the Black Knight appeared around the meat shield. A sneer. Yes. Are the three of them on together? Han Songyi, who entered and exited the dungeon, didn't know much about it. Thought this was a normal fight between hunters. And hunters who stay in the dungeon for a long time will not be unaware. This kind of scene can be called a fairy. Fighting is a character they haven't seen in years of mingling in dungeons. After joining King Ein, the Ghost King has changed from an original advantage to a disadvantage. The Black Knight rushed towards the ghost at great speed. Ghost King, dodge the spurt of the black disc in front of you. But it was behind him. Chung Xiaoyu was automatically molested. Activates the effect of paralysis. Activates the effect, bleeding loss. However, this blow did not cause fatal damage to the Ghost King. If he is too high level, he instantly eliminates the negative effects on his body. The Ghost King looked furious. Having killed countless enemies, it was the first time he had actually fought the U.S. Army. He said to Chung Xiaoyu, no matter how much garbage there is, it's just garbage. After all, they all have to die here. Chung Xiaoyu sneered. Said to the Ghost King, take a good look around you. Trash in your eyes. You've wiped out all the soldiers you're proud of. The Ghost King gritted his teeth in anger. He rushed straight towards Chung Xiaoyu. Capture the thief and capture the king first. As long as Chung Xiaoyu, the monarch, is killed, that's the end of it. Chung Xiaoyu waved his right hand. Throw the short sword in his hand at the Ghost King. The Ghost King smiled. Don't want weapons? You idiot. Soon he was slapped in the face. Chung Xiao exerts force with her right hand. Activate the hand of the Dominator skill. After receiving the power of dominance in the flying dagger, the speed increases dramatically as if it were turbocharged. Directly smash the weapon of the Ghost King. Aaron suddenly appeared behind the Ghost King. Stretch out your hands and give the skinny Ghost King to the three necromancers. Together, an oversized mushroom cloud smashed into the king. After the smoke clears, I only saw Alan contributing to the cow. The Ghost King escaped at some point. It's just that the clothes are burned. The person is still alive behind him. Alan's shadow is torn apart after suffering a fatal blow. The Ghost King roared angrily. I'll kill you. There was a pop of blood gushing out of his body. Chung Xiaoyu, who turned on the stealth skill, stabbed the dagger into his body. Chung Xiaoyu sneered. Is it over? The Ghost King grabbed Chung Xiaoyu's hand, roaring. Who do you think you dare to bring to me to the end? But he didn't know. Recovered Ein was holding a giant axe behind him. Looked straight at him. With a bang, it slashed directly at the Ghost King. It's slow, but a knife 999. The Ghost King lay on his stomach on the snow and couldn't move. System prompts. The Dungeon Master has been wiped out. Level up. Level up. Chung Xiaoyu sighed. It's over. But the clanging did not stop. Aaron held a giant axe and slashed at the corpse of the Ghost King. Looked at Chung Xiaoyu stupidly. Hurriedly told him to stop, pointing at the big guy with his finger. You give me enough to stop. I muttered in my heart. Even if it becomes a shadow, it's still that stupid. I'm already starting to worry about the future. Alan was puzzled. What's wrong with the host? He looked back at the Black Rider for answers. Kurosaki sighed. Then he turned and left. He turned his head to look at the two creeps again. The little soldier was stunned. Because of Alan's level, can only be an actor. Chung Xiaoyu said to the players. Let's go back. The team members were still immersed in the battle just now. Shocked. Asked Chung Xiaoyu where to go back. Blank snow. A ball of light slowly appeared. A moment later, a teleportation to reality and dungeons. Chung Xiaoyu pointed to the teleportation and went home. The team members only realized it later. The final boss grabs the portal. Opened. It's time to go home. They danced with joy. Xiaoyu has another important thing in the future. Ask him to look at the corpse of the Ghost King and shout a command. Stand up. 3 stinkers are better than 1 Zhuge Although the Ghost King is superb, but he died heroically under the siege of Chung Xiaoyu and 2 shadow warriors. After the Ghost King was destroyed, the portal reopens. At this time, it was already 3 o'clock in the morning outside the portal. 7 hours had passed since the portal. A week had passed inside the portal. I don't think it's the way to wait. He's in charge of guarding here. The president refused to be trapped inside. As president, he could not ignore it. And then the teleportation rattled. The red portal slowly opened. Several figures appeared in the portal. The president shouted happily that he was the king. He did paddling. The trio was the first to come out. Chung Xiaoyu and Han Songyi followed. That's how we guessed right. After the 5 of them came out, the portal vanished. The president looked puzzled. What about the king? Is that all there are to it? Wang Zhenzhen looked depressed. Tell the president. Everyone else died inside. The president was stunned. The high-ranking hunters are all dead. Only the low-level hunters survived. What's going on here? After all, he is not a member of the White Tiger Guild. Chung Xiaoyu was ready to leave as if nothing had happened. The president pressed his shoulder. Let him talk about it later. Chung Xiaoyu slapped the general's hand away. He told the president. I'm tired right now. If you have any questions, ask your guild members. President Su was stunned. I'm crazy, kid. He didn't even give him my face to hold it down again. And it gets harder and harder. He told Cheng Xiaoyan. I am the leader of the White Tiger Guild. By Yu Hao. This is not a request. It's fate. Or a threat. We lost 9 union members this time. As president, I still have the right to ask you a few questions. Even if it's an S-class president. At this moment, Cheng Xiaoyu can't stand it. He glared at the nurse impatiently. So, I saved the remaining 3. Since you are the president, shouldn't you thank me first after a wave of eye contact? The chairman put down the hand that was holding Cheng Xiaoyu's shoulder. I said sorry to Cheng Xiaoyu. It's that I'm too sensitive. You're right. After seeing Cheng Xiaoyu leave. What is the situation with Wang Zhenjin, who will be angry? How the whole body exudes low air pressure. Wang Zhenjin was also confused. He told the president. Cheng Xiaoyu is catching the ultimate dog head. After shouting 3 words in front of him. It's always that expression. He told the president. Cheng Xiaoyu is usually very good. This time it may be because I'm too tired. But the president told him. That's not a problem. The question is, why haven't you recruited him yet? Face me. She wasn't even afraid. If that's the home, he must be brought in at all costs. It's not enough to be fast, Uncle Wang. I will provide you with all the houses in the future. Be sure to let him into our company. This president didn't expect that. Face his threats. Cheng Xiaohe was not a little timid. Even put on a look of disobedience to him. And Cheng Xiaoyun at that meeting was angry. 3 attempts to extract the Ghost King's shadow failed. It made him very depressed. Lost a big fight. Although it's a pity. But it can't be helped. Fortunately, I also got a bit of a consolation prize. The Ghost King's weapon, the Baruka short sword. Cheng Xiaoyu sent Han Songyi home. Han Songyi expressed his gratitude to Cheng Xiaoyu. And said to him, I was stunned when I saw Cheng Xiaoyu later. After looking at the time, I realized that I had been in it for a week. But it was only a night away outside. And today, I made an appointment to fight a team battle with the rich second generation. He spun the wheel. Come to the agreed place. A steel helmet. A few chicken feathers. It is the rich second generation. Today's dress made Cheng Xiaoyu speechless. Before you go, Cheng Xiaoyu asked the rich second generation Immortal Pavilion to pick up Han Songyi. This made the rich second generation very confused. It's only been a few days. Cheng Xiaoyu and Han Song are still so good. I also want to pick her up. Sensible. She turned around and asked brother Cheng Xiaoyu. From now on, do I want to call Han Zhengyi sister-in-law? Cheng Xiaoyu was stunned. Hurriedly explained. She's just a friend of my sister. Han Songyi walked out in casual clothes. Compared to before, it is like 2 people. She said hello to the rich second generation. Then sit next to Cheng Xiaoyu. Pleasant people. The next conversation is to make the rich second generation wake up completely. Did you sleep well after going back? Didn't sleep at all. I'm so tired. The rich second generation suddenly broke out in a cold sweat. Has it progressed to this extent? He reminded Cheng Xiaoyu in a low voice. Han Songyi is still a minor. Cheng Xiaoyu looked at him with a confused expression. So he was so frightened that he swallowed back as soon as he wanted to say something. Silently driving the car. Big Brother's world is not his policewoman. Come to the C-class dungeon again. With just one blow, the monster was torn apart. Once again, it refreshed the cognition of the rich second generation. The monsters of the C-level dungeon were too understanding for Cheng Xiaoyu. He didn't even bother to do it. Just let the shadow people clean up. But he took Fu Air with the cat. These guys can not only help him fight monsters, also robbed the rich second generation of their usual work. Let him have no work to do. He felt like his position was being robbed. A little angry. Made Cheng Xiaoyu laugh. He instructed his shadow men to leave a little for the rich second generation. The rich second generation tearfully took the touchstone dug by the shadow warriors. A certain in the eastern part of Country M and in the dungeon. and Hunter James was looking stunned. This uncle with Super Saiyan hair beat all his teammates to the ground. He felt strange from the moment he entered this dungeon. I didn't even see the shadow of a monster. Unexpectedly, the ultimate hanging room actually appeared. Man is accustomed to the magic that emanates from his body. It has surpassed the level of basement. How could this be how strong this monster really is? And the monster noticed. Head turn, slowly getting bigger. James screamed loudly in fright. Retreat again and again. The Scion touched his head. He told James, "Don't worry, they're not dead. I just fainted. I'm not Warcraft. It's human. As soon as you come up, you attack me. I had no choice but to fight back. But the language barrier." James thought he was going to kill them first. He covered his ears and shivered in fear. The Scion changed his tone. "I am not a native. I want to go home." How bold the local tyrant is. As soon as it was shot, it was 200 million. The condition is to let Chung Xiaoyu form a sea-level dungeon with him 19 times. Fortunately, there were no accidents in these 19-team formations. Cleared the level with ease. They found a barbecue restaurant to celebrate. I also drank a little wine. Although wine is no different from water to Chung Xiaoyu. The rich second generation told Chung Xiaoyu. Next, he plans to go to the association to take a written exam. After getting the leader's certificate, go and make a deal with his father. Chung Xiaoyu took out the demon jade key that he had not dared to explore before. Then he was held tightly. What should be faced is always what needs to be faced. 3 rounds of drinking. The rich second generation was drunk, and Xiaoyu spit out some truths. For him, compared to Chung Xiaoyu, who was related by blood, more like his own brother, not only saved his life, and I have been helping her. Chung Xiaoyu was stunned for a moment. Then he smiled softly, said to the rich second generation, "If you treat me as a brother, then I will treat you as a brother too." Moved the rich second generation to tears. At this time, the TV news was broadcast live overhead. The Red Portal mutation event has been widely reported. Reporters from all walks of life poured into the White Tiger Guild for interviews. The high-ranking hunters are all dead. Only the low-level hunters came back alive. Is it true, please? Rumor has it that someone has helped the survivors in the dungeon. What do you think? Faced with a constant stream of problems, the leader of the White Tiger Guild only replied with a few words. The association has already investigated the matter. It is a fact that there was an accident, but there is nothing to help. Chung Xiaoyu knew that the person who helped was referring to him. I just don't know why the president would help him hide it. After the interview, the president helped him back to his office. Dodged that annoying group of reporters. It was his friendly Shijun calling. Tell the president about a big event. A week ago, the second prince secretly contacted him. After past investigations, the association found that the problem was even more serious than expected. This made the president very curious. What a big thing can make the hunters of our 07 Ho like. A word next. Let the president, who was originally absent-minded, instantly tense up. That was the Jeju Island portal incident. He leaned into the phone. Let Li Shijun say text message. Li Shijun told me. That S-class teleportation on Jeju Island 4 years ago. We tried 3 times and failed. In the end, even the government abandoned Chijo Island. Today, 4 years later, the swarm of ants began to stir again. We almost died there because of those guys. The president was also a member of the raiding party that year. That once nightmare. He was still a little scared when he thought about it now. Li Shijun's next words directly made the chairman messy. This horrific group of demons is happening in the movie. They were flying across the sea away from the island. It has been spotted on the beach offshore. Ant carcass with wings. The degree to which these guys have evolved is astounding. How wide are S-class demons in dungeons? The 3-headed dogs of hell who guarded the gate almost beat Chung Xiaoyu to death. Chung Xiaoyu upgraded by constantly fighting monsters. Now it's making a comeback. Open the port. At that moment, the warm and beautiful scenery turned into a purgatory on Earth. Remember the last time you killed the three-headed hellhound? He is only level 20. Now the level has tripled. He's confident. This time will definitely be much easier than before. He came to the door he didn't dare to enter the last time. Take out the key and open the door. At that moment, a chill floated out. Walk in and see. It is a long, narrow aisle. There are many demon statues on both sides of the aisle. It's chilling. This is the mission window popping up. Collect demonic souls. Catch 10,000 chickens. Complete the task. After completing the mission, you will receive the corresponding reward. Chung Xiaoyu was instantly moved. Not only attribute points are awarded, you can also get more than 10 billion weapons. But he also knows, tend to be the more rewarded, the more difficult the task. Oddly enough, open the door to a monster's realm in the passage. He was stunned for a moment. I didn't expect it to be a real-life dungeon. This is to make the entire S10 into a dungeon. After a while, dense monsters appeared. The system prompts the appearance of a low-level demon. 1 soul is awarded for each one destroyed. Because I'm afraid that my sister will be worried. She made excuses and said she was going out to travel for a week. In this case, it may be possible to do it for a week. Don't put down your travel bag. With a thud, it disappeared in place and reappeared. Already in front of the monster with a short sword. Quickly weave through monsters. The monster hasn't had time yet. Near the fire, he died under Chung Xiaoyu's sword. The system prompt has been resolved. Low-level Castlevania 3, gain 100 by 3 XP. Obtain demon souls multiplied by 3. Even the experience required to level up is marked. Now even if it's a race against time. In a Korean restaurant, there is a serious rich second generation. And his father, Lu Chong, chairman of the construction board. The rich second generation gave the hunter leader qualification certificate to the big man and proposed to give him the position of guild leader. The reason is that it is left to outsiders. The risk is too great. The chairman disrupted him and said that before that, I would introduce someone to him. The door opened. Walk into an uncle who is not good-looking. He is the White Tiger Guild, one of the survivors of the Red Portal event. Gao Mingheng. The rich second generation is very confused. How could the survivors desperately sought by the media end up here? The chairman asked Gao Mingpeng to tell the situation at that time. Gao Mingheng told about the experience of paddling at that time. Media rumors. The helper is a high school student huntress. Cheng Xiao and the hunter heard the name. The rich second generation got it out. I didn't expect the eldest brother to be the master of this big incident. The female high school student hunter is naturally Han Songmin. No wonder the last time I saw the two of them, their relationship suddenly became hooligan. In the next plot, the rich second generation doesn't have to listen. I also feel the strength of his eldest brother. He knows best. The problem now is that the secret of the big brother is no longer a secret. This will lead to more than one good luck in the negotiations. Sure enough, after Gao Mingpeng said Chen Xiaoyu, the chairman interrupted him. Take out a stack of papers from behind you. In order to build a trade union, he needs to recruit capable hunters. This Red Portal incident is rumored to have helpers. He specially sent someone to investigate, then dug up the team information of Cheng Xiaoyu and the rich second generation. And the rich second generation came to negotiate with him at this time. It's tantamount to throwing yourself into a trap. He was able to get a trade union leader's certificate. It's all up to Cheng Xiaoyu. The rich second generation feels cold. The father already knew everything. It means that he has lost his advantage. But even so, he still said to his father with a firm face, "Leave the process guild to us." I thought my father would refuse. Unexpectedly, his father agreed. The rich second generation was stunned. This is a hit. The chairman slowly got up. Smile kindly. Said to the rich second generation, "Give the guild to outsiders. It's really too risky. You're there. Why take that risk again?" The hunter named Cheng Xiaoyu. "Can you recruit him into the process guild?" The rich second generation told him with a firm face. "I'll try." The chairman felt a sense of pride in his heart. In order to establish a process guild, he had come into contact with two S-class hunters, the Hunters Guild's car meeting and the Ladies' Army's car club that has retired. A hunter, though, is known as the ultimate weapon, but under Cui Zhongning's suppression, can only be a deputy leader, chairman, with the position of the leader of the trade union of Lu Cheng, who has strong funds, as a condition. Invite his family. It must have been a lot of faith for him. As for the Mi army, it was because of the failure of the 3 raids on the cave entrance of Chizhou Island that he decided to retreat. And this time, ant carcasses were found in Erbwa. If you want to attack the teleportation of Chizhou Island for the 4th time, then he is indispensable. The chairman was curious. It was he who found the ladies' army first. It was his son who recruited Cheng Xiaoyan first. This is a battle between the world and experience, demons and dungeons. Cheng Xiaoyu stood on top of the mountain of demon corpses. He could feel that the further down he went, the higher the level of the beast. There will be some horror waiting for them in the future. How quickly players with a second awakening level up. Not so long ago, a guard dog almost killed him. And now the low-level demon is like a novice mob in front of him. Grab a handful. Although the highest level of Warcraft in this layer is only B level. However, compared to ordinary dungeons, it has a lot more experience points. Level up 1 level in a normal dungeon. There are 9 C-tier dungeons that need to be conquered, and it only takes 4 hours here. As you level up, the amount of experience required is also read along with it. If you want to get stronger, it is necessary to accelerate the upgrade. Last time I encountered White-Green, known as Xiaoyu. I feel that my strength is not up to the level of S level, so it's even faster. He pulls out the items dropped by the monsters. Devil with a 2nd floor permit. Look into the distance. A pillar of light shot straight into the sky. It seems that there was once a magic array. Wanna upgrade quickly? You can't just stand still here. He summons the Shadow Warrior Xiongda. This majestic appearance. It's like a heavy tank. Cheng Xiaoyu jumped on Xiongda's shoulder. A few roadblock mobs blocked the way. Before Cheng Xiaoyu could give an order. Boom. Xiongda couldn't wait to crash into the demon. In an instant, the roadblock demon was knocked away. He took Cheng Xiaoyu on a rampage all the way. Overwhelming. Several managers of the Hunter Administration of Country M are standing outside the protective window. Look at that uncle who looks like a super scion. After interrogation, I learned that this uncle was a hunter from Country H. 10 years ago, he was trapped in a portal. When I opened my eyes again, already in the director is very depressed. It's really a departure from Trump, not only from the 1st level teleportation. He also wiped out the assault team composed of A-class hunters. If the person is a human memory, if there is no S-class hunter to intervene, the whole W is going to be in danger. They contacted the Scavengers Guild. However, the courage of an S-class hunter who can speak Chinese. That is the Scavenger Guild's main hunter, Princess Huang. At this time, he was on his way back to Angola. He was angry. Came all the way to kill someone. Thank you. I didn't expect that garbage to die in the teleport. It's not a coincidence. They plan to wait for Huang Dongshu to come back. It's up to him to interrogate this mysterious H-hunter. Becoming a Japanese and Korean demon domain. A permit to enter the 2nd floor of the demon domain. Can only move a magic circle between layers. Warcraft with access passes appear randomly on each floor. Only get the admission pass. To use the Fujima magic circle to enter others. Each layer of the demon domain has a different world name. If only there was a copy here. Then there are 100 worlds that exist. Over time, Cheng Xiaohe is moving upwards at an astonishing speed. He's already starting to run into the ultimate demon, although it's only a C grade. But I can feel that it is not a level for Edo Class B-Class Warcraft. And the higher you climb, the monster level will also rise quickly. It's like the 1st level and S-Class brains and the hunter level can't cross much. From the beginning it will be efficient. I'm also worried about whether this place will become its own monster. I didn't expect that the strength was not as good as a guard dog. His nervousness also faded over time. I don't even bother to break it myself. Summoning your men directly. And so it went all the way to 47, 48, 49 or 50 floors. He encounters the dominators of the lower classes, the greedy god of fire. There were still dense hands standing around. It seems that there is finally a more powerful one. Otherwise, Chung Xiaoyu would have fallen asleep. He held out his hand and motioned for the magician to take the lead. 3 fireballs are sealed with both hands. Passed over Chung Xiaoyu's head. Straight for the Vulcan guard. Instantly fills the sense of urgency of the guards. They drew their weapons and rushed towards the intruders. Chung Xiaoyu handed over the guards to the king. Ein and Betsy Yagret. Open the invisible AG shadow and confront the Vulcan guards. Although the guards are strong. But Chung Xiaoyu took your warriors all the way to level up. They are even better. Yeglit's hand fell. He split the guard in half. And Chung Xiaoyu's goal is the Vulcan buff built into the throne. He looks so fat. It shouldn't be hard to kill. Just sneak through with invisibility magic. Just kill him. But he didn't expect it. The seemingly bulky body vanished under his nose in an instant. When it reappears, already wielding the sledgehammer in front of the shadow men. Ain saw this. Immediately raise your shield. Hit the god of fire with a blow. There was a loud clang. The smoke cleared. Alan lay on the ground. The shadows faded. It seems that even the strongest meat shield can't withstand him. A casual blow. Vulcan swung his sledgehammer again. With a thud, he slammed into Yeglit next to him. Directly chopped him away. Chung Xiaoyu ran fast. A leap forward. Jump on the head of Vulcan. Raise your fists. There was anger in his eyes. Said to the god of fire, "Aren't you too fat? Dare to bully my men. Don't look at this boss as fat as a pig." Speed and power are not to be underestimated. In the blink of an eye, he flashed in front of the shadow warrior. Lianqing Xiao used proud meat shield. I couldn't resist his blow. With a single attack, he killed 2 of his right-hand men. Was so angry that Chung Xiaoyu raised his fist and gave him a slap on the head. Crackling knocked down several buildings. Chung Xiaoyu was a little surprised. Just a punch in a fit of rage. How to fly so far? It seems that it is right to add skill points to strength. But the punch didn't cause fatal damage to Vulcan. And he was. The system warns Vulcan to activate the skill Fury. 50% increase in all stats. The same skills as the guard dogs of the time. And that's not all. His pain also decreased and became faster. Like an angry bull. Chung Xiaoyu felt that this blow would be dodged and couldn't dodge. He hurriedly turned his head and shouted at King Ein. Alan, who had just recovered his body, was stunned. But it soon dawned. A loud roar. Raise your shield in your hand. Exert your strength. Throw the shield. Float through the ice to Chung Xiao. Chung Xiaoyu grabbed the shield. The Vulcan roared, threw out a sledgehammer, and smashed it on Chung Xiao in the shield. Suddenly, the landslide cracked. See if you can't break it with one blow. Vulcan smashed several more hammers in a row. Fortunately, Chung Xiao and his strength are high. Plus Alan's shield. Barely able to hold on. But it's hard to say if you smash it again. Had to be in the case of his continuous attacks. Find the flaw to fight back. When Vulcan lifted the sledgehammer again. Here's your chance. Chung Xiaoyu threw away the shield. Leap up. Slide towards the knife with a dagger. But he didn't expect it. Vulcan stopped attacking. Dodged Chung Xiaoyu's attack. This big clever ghost predicted Chung Xiaoyu. He waved out the door again. Chung Xiaoyu panicked. Being in midair is the worst position to defend. This blow cannot be defended. Unless you can get out of the way. It occurred to him that he could use the hand of Dominator skill. Although it can't stop the Vulcan's movements. However, it is possible to use the reaction force to bounce itself away. When the sledgehammer is about to hit itself, he managed to bounce off. There is no danger. If you eat this layer that even Alan can't stop, it will probably be cold. Chung Xiaoyu didn't expect this guy to be so difficult. It's not just fast. The power is even more than himself. You have to find a way to control him first. He saw the shady in the distance. Suddenly I had a plan. He fled quickly in front of the god of fire. Seeing this, the god of fire chased after him frantically. Cheng Xiaoyu. Daiki is right. That's it. Come and chase me. They chased me all the way. Come under this edifice. Cheng Xiaoyu uses his running skills to speed up. Ran straight to the building. Vulcan sensed something was wrong, but it was too late. Cheng Xiaoyu has already run to the top of the cliff. When Vulcan is about to crash into the building, Cheng Xiaoyu's fierce memories bounced off the building, summoning his true nature. In the stunned eyes of the Vulcan, it slid straight off his shoulder with a thud. A stream of black blood could not open up from his body. In the community, looking for Cheng Xiaoyan, but even the neighbors didn't see anyone else for days. Wang Zhenzhen contacted Han Songyi. I learned that Cheng Xiaoyu went on a trip with a friend for a week. Since it's going on a tour, there is no record of leaving the country. There are also no bank withdrawal records and credit card records. And according to the association's positioning records, the last place where he was seen was downtown. Wang Zhenzhen's face became solemn. I guess I was kidnapped. He told Wang Zhenzhen, I want to kidnap Cheng Xiaozhong. You have to use the kind of country C. Only a special unit made up of all high-level hunters. You've seen his strength with your own eyes. Clearest of all. Cheng Xiaoyu went. It could disappear under his nose. And he couldn't know where Cheng Xiaoyu would go. After all, this is an awakened. Players are eligible to come somewhere. Ishii Dungeon Demon Domain. And Cheng Xiaoyu is fighting monsters and upgrading. The magic is 1 foot high. The road is 1 foot high. Face the god of fire with speed and strength on his own. Cheng Xiaoyu made a little subplan. Kill this samurai from the rank boss. For pieces of golden gear dropped from his corpse. Fragments of the world tree. Materials for crafting top-notch magic items. Sounds advanced. I just don't know where to use it. It can only be put away temporarily. It's useful to compare props and equipment. The Demon Sovereign's earrings are worn alongside other Demon Series equipment. There will be a set effect. Isn't that the Abyss set? Cheng Xiaoyu couldn't wait to pick up the belt. And magic items. Greedy Spider doubles magic damage. It's a pity that Cheng Xiaoyu is not a member of the magic series. Otherwise, the beads are too practical. Suddenly, a number of Vulcan hands fell to Ygritte. The Black Rider has managed to slay down all the guards. Take the head and offer it to the monarch. Cheng Xiaoyu felt moved and helpless. Because the Black Rider will learn to do it too. Sure enough, the big man dragged the corpse of the god of fire past. I saw Cheng Xiaoyu out. He obviously killed that guy. It's a head-grabbing thing. But he's his own shield. He suddenly thought of blocking the Vulcan attack. The shield that Alan lent him. Isn't that like lending magic to someone else? He summoned the magician who was slapping Alan's ass. Give him the greedy spider. Let him face the building in the distance. The mage's hands were sealed, and a ball of fireball grew back and forth. Soon an oversized fireball was heard. The entire building was blown up in an instant. It was completely out of Cheng Xiaoyu's meaning. Is this the damage of the two magicians? It's terrifying, and there is no writing in it. It cannot be passed on to others. He felt a pang in his heart. Looks like you can put this crazy pork to good use. M Country W is the Hunter Management Building. Yellow Maple had just returned home and was called here. It was up to him to interrogate. Appears in the gods and portals. He smiled wickedly at the eldest uncle. You'd better cooperate with me. Are you a human or a monster? It's all my words. Facing the threat of Huang Dongshu, Uncle just smiled calmly. Huang Dongshu asked the uncle 3 times like a prisoner. You've died once in a dungeon. How did you survive in the dungeon for the past 10 years? Are you the living dead? Uncle just combined 2 words. It wasn't Huang Dongshu who continued to ask me. People who died in the dungeon. Is it possible to come back to life like you? He thought in his heart that he could only be resurrected. You can see them again. And the uncle firmly rejected his idea. There is no possibility. There is no resurrection from the dead. The uncle asked Huang Dongshu rhetorically about the teleportation and warcraft. How much do you know? Ask Huang Dongshu. Uncle told you. Dungeon teleportation beasts. They are nothing more than a prologue to the war. The force that will cause great calamity has awakened not long ago. And I'm coming back to stop that catastrophe. As for what kind of disaster it is, I can't say. Huang Dongshu felt that it was a pity, since it is a great calamity. But it doesn't matter who, there are many people and great power. It's better than going it alone. But the uncle told him, the numbers are too small in the face of that power. A rabble of people gathered together will only be attacked and used. You're a pretty good guy, too. It should be clear. This sentence stunned Huang Dongshu. With his strength, in his mouth, he is only considered to be Xiao Qiao. He was very upset. But let's move on to the process. He picked up his uncle's information. Look at the uncle's name is Chung Rihan. Get rid of the stray hairs on your head. It's pretty much the same as the photos. Oddly enough, spent 10 years in the dungeon. I didn't even get old. The experience of being a hunter was brilliant. If you put it aside now, you can make a lot of money. If ranked by rank, reach the strength of Huang Dongshu. The money earned is totally sufficient. 3 generations are suitable. His wife's name is Lin Jingwei. I have a pair of children. See the name. Huang Dongshu was stunned. He asked Chung, Japan and South Korea. Do you remember your son's name? Chung Rihan blurted out. The daughter's name is Chung Xiaoya. The son's name is Chung Xiaoya. Hear the name. Huang Dongshu smiled. Chung Rihan suddenly felt that something was wrong. I felt a powerful murderous aura from Huang Dongshu. Chung Rihan is not afraid. A golden aura was released from his body. Confrontation. Huang Dongshu pressed the red button on the table. Graduated doctors. He told the deputy commissioner. This man is a monster. He's about to attack. Please hurry up and get out of the way. Then on the day of Han water. I just got back from the bathroom, so I'm well aware of your son's situation. Your son is dead. Hear this. Chung Rihan was stunned. The imperial palace smiled wickedly, looked at Chung Rihan and said, your last words can go to heaven. Tell him personally. The man was trapped in the dungeon for 10 years. When I open my eyes again, but it's already in Embo. It's a coincidence. Happened to run into a man who wanted to kill his son. Huang Dongshu, who avenged his brother. He thought Chung Xiao was dead. He had to ask his father for a debt. A battle of top hunters is about to break out. The devil wants to come out. Cheng Xiaoyu came to the 75th floor. Here is the purpose of the living dead. The owner of this place waved the zombies. Skeletons. A dense army of the undead. All respond to the call of the necromancer archmage. Qi brushed and walked towards Cheng Xiaoyu. Cheng Xiaoyu summoned his 2 right-hand men. Ygritte and the king gave the order to clear the way. Received the order. Shadow warriors. Without hesitation, he rushed behind the mighty army of the living dead, followed by the shadow men. For a while, the soldiers met each other. Sparks erupted. Aaron wields a great axe. Ygritte wielded his sword. Stupid the undead boss. His own army of the living dead was crushed in this way. What's even more terrifying? The figure that stood in front of the bright moon. The owner of the shadow warrior was looking straight at him. He's afraid of being a monster. He felt that Cheng Xiaoyu was the real monster. It's over before it even starts. Cheng Xiaoyu flashed. He smashed the necromancer to pieces. After the death of the archmage, my dead man shattered to the ground like a puppet with a broken thread. Cheng Xiaoyu wanted to extract the meaning of this archmage. However, he was told by the system that he could not extract the method force. He picks up the S-rank equipment that he dropped. After wearing the Demon King's necklace, the first stack of the set effect is activated. All attribute points are added to 5. Boy, this is equivalent to a 5-level upgrade. If you get the equipment of the last sword Demon King, I don't know what more amazing bonuses will be, although I would love to get it now. But the quest to collect demon souls has been completed. The physical strength has also reached the limit. I can only do it for the time being. Now I'm looking forward to getting mission rewards. First, the item shop can be selected from any of the following items. Some equipment even cost more than 100. Cheng Xiaoyu originally wanted to pick the most expensive weapon, but the thought of getting triple every time you raid the dungeon, and the higher level dungeons are prepared, there is a trade-off. Once again, he opted for the cursed ambush cooperation. After all, it was because of the last choice that I was able to enter this demonic power. Not only can you quickly level up, also got a lot of valuable items. Cheng Xiaoyu is looking forward to what will come out of this meeting. It made him open it unexpectedly. He was stunned for a moment. It's a key that's pitch black. Oddly enough, the stats bar is full of question marks. It was the first time he had encountered such a situation. There is no information at all, but gold always shines. That moment, Cheng Xiaoyu put him in the item to receive reward 2. Add 20 points to be distributed. After becoming a beloved female monarch, Cheng Xiaoyu's mana consumption is visible to the naked eye. This time he simply added all his intelligence. Finally, there are undisclosed rewards. 3. He has already chosen the reward twice. At this moment, there is no much attempt in my heart to get a reward. The water of life makes NBW. It's the whole city that is devastated. The firefighter is trying to face. The whole city was paralyzed. This is the battle between S-class hunters. We'll reduce everything around it to rubble. Although it has been expected for a long time. But I didn't expect the reality to be even more exaggerated than expected. And to the director's surprise, Huang Dongshu's hunter was hanged and beaten, and he was completely defeated. Cheng Xiaoyu came out of the demon domain, come to the hospital, visiting her bedridden mother. He pulled out the undisclosed bonus, Water of Life Craft Scrolls, a mysterious potion that can cure all diseases, as long as there is it. His mother might wake up. 3 items are required to craft the Water of Life. World Tree Fragments. After killing the 50th floor Dominator Vulcan, you will receive the Fountain of Resurrection. It was on the 75th floor to kill the Necromancer. There is only one last step left. The joy of the purified Demon King. His instincts told him. This thing was at the time of the final explosion at the top of the demon domain. That is to say, as long as the demon domain is attacked, you can get all the ingredients to craft the Ozdevai, so that the mother can wake up. Is this the battle between Rice and the hunters? Immortals fight. The city suffered. There were blazing fires everywhere. The bustling city was reduced to ruins in an instant. The whole of both countries has been affected. The news soon spread to various countries, because I'm afraid that the impact will be too great. The bombings were covered globally, but anyone who is a hunter knows it. Such a devastating explosion. Only battles between high-level hunters can be inflicted. At this time, a guest arrived. The director looked at it. It's a strange hunter with no reputation. He whispered to the little assistant beside him. Sometimes there is this kind of dissatisfaction with the status quo. Delusional. The hunter who can turn over does not need to be entangled with him for too long. Tell him that he will be responsible for the expenses. Just give it a test. But when he saw the name, he was stunned. Hurriedly called by Lu Hao, president of the White Tiger Trade Union. Tell him that the man who had put his eye on it before appeared. Bai Lu Hao stopped what he was doing. Asked anxiously. Now people are on your side. Test reception hall. Cheng Xiaoyu sat outside and waited. I have mixed feelings. Nothing has changed here. And she's only a few months. From an immature child to a mature youth. He's looking forward to the weakest blow in the last test. After this period of upgrading, the level will be located at which stage? An uncle waiting for identification next to him said to Cheng Xiaoyu, "Don't be too nervous. Although there are those who reverse their lives because of a change in rank, but that's only a small part." He pointed to the waiting hall. Say, even if it's at the prefecture level. It will also be favored by the salesman over there. But don't go to that union. Teamfights in small guilds are not only dangerous. The mortality rate of hunters is also high. Cheng Xiao was deeply touched. The positioning of the small guild is indeed awkward. There will often be those with low grades. Users are content with lovers of low-level dungeons to raid high-level underground, but paid a heavy price due to lack of strength. No, Xiaoyu didn't even have a fancy to the small guild at that time. At this point, the test door opens. A young man with a sad face. The young lady lined up this uncle under the sea of people who were waiting. He looked like he didn't care. Tell Cheng Xiaoyan. As long as there is no expectation, it won't be so nervous. As long as it's not a first-class mixed mouthpiece, it's still no problem. Cheng Xiaoyu noticed. From the beginning, the uncle beside him had been trembling. It can be seen that he attaches great importance to this review. Because of a lot of debt, the test grade must be C or higher. He can enter the large guilds, get the signing gold law debt. Then he and his family return to their previous normal level of life. It can change the lives of countless people. It's like the strength of a hunter is determined by level. No matter how you practice swordsmanship, a strong body is determined by rank. The gap is not so easy. The annual salary gap between you and the death level is also large. It's like a C-rank hunter who has been practicing swordsmanship for many years. In the end, he still didn't catch up with the gap between B and Haoyan. Cheng Xiaoyu has several years of experience in group formation, but he has never been able to shake off the shackles of dissidence. But that's all in the past. The uncle who just went and walked away like a lost soul. He never expected it. I thought I was no better. It's also a younger brother. I didn't expect it to be the worst prefecture level. Under his influence, the fat uncle who was already trembling. At the moment, I was even more nervous and couldn't move. He said to Cheng Xiaoyu, I was so nervous. Why don't you go first? Cheng Xiaoyu walked into the room. Stand in front of a big ball and wait. The young lady looked at the information. I've been judged to be a first-level awakener. She asked Cheng Xiaoyu if he wanted to do a second measurement. After getting Cheng Xiaoyu's confirmation, he started the machine. I muttered in my heart. Most of the applicants for the secondary test are first-class hunters. And in the end, it's still level 1. Wasted money on measurements. But soon he was slapped in the face. When Cheng Xiaoyu put his hand on the test ball, the computer crashed. He was stunned. For so long, this has never been the case. At this time, the master came over. He was a little curious. The person who can make Bai Yuhao of the White Tiger Guild so attentive. What is so special about this person? I don't know if I don't see it. I was shocked when I saw it. It's not right for a machine to break down. This happened 2 years ago when the car was tested. Finally determined to be an S-class hunter. And after him, there has never been an S-class hunter.